Hello, Big Reds. This is part 4. Actually, this is for honors only. You lucky people get to do this part on your test in addition to what the regular geometry classes are doing. So here it tells us that BE is the mid-segment. That means B is the midpoint of AC. So these two are congruent. And E is the midpoint of AD. These are congruent. So since it's a mid-segment, BE equals 2x plus 3. CD equals 9x minus 14, right? So what we're going to do is, I know that the mid-segment is half of this segment, so I'm going to multiply this by 2. So I take 2 times 2x plus 3 and put that equal to 9x minus 14. And I'll zoom up on that part so you can see it a little bit better. Okay? So I distribute the 2. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times 3 is 6. Then I subtract 4x from each side. So I'm left with 6 is equal to 5x minus 14. Add 14 each side, and I'm left with 5x equals 20. Divide by 5, x equals 4. That is your answer right there. So that is a problem with the mid-segment. Okay, now, you'll have two problems, honors. You'll have two problems with proofs written, with statements and reasons and all this stuff. But the biggest thing you need to understand is how these two triangles will be congruent. Because the only part that you're going to need to know with statements and reasons in the proof, dot, 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 is you need to know the last reason. That's it. All right? That's the same thing for both of these. So it tells us that AB is congruent to CD. And tells us AB is parallel to CD. Well, I know that since these sides are congruent, I marked them as congruent. I also know that the side in the middle is congruent by the reflexive property, right? And I also know that since these are parallel lines, this is a transversal, I have alternate interior angles that are congruent. So that means in each triangle here, you can see this, I have a side congruent, an angle, and a side. So this is SAS. So that's going to be your answer for this one. You won't have to write a full proof like we did in class, but you do need to know how they're congruent. All right? Same type of thing for this one. You're going to have a proof with statements and reasons. Kind of going down here, and then you need to know what goes in this last step here. So it tells us that AB is parallel to CD. So parallel means I put little arrows here. Then it says AD is parallel to BC. So I'm going to put arrows right here. Okay. Now I don't have any sides congruent other than the side that's in the middle. By the reflexive property, BD is congruent to itself. Now, since these two are parallel, I know 1 and 2 are alternate interior angles, so those are congruent. And I also know, because these two are parallel, 3 and 4 are congruent because they're alternate interior angles. So if you look at each triangle right here, each triangle right here, I have an angle, a side, and an angle. So it's going to be ASA. Now, make sure you know the difference between these two. These are very different triangles. They look like they're set up similar, but they have different things that are marked congruent. So make sure you study this carefully. And good luck, honors classes, and go Big Reds.